Okay, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the studio this evening, where tonight we're going to paint this guy. This is Western Scrub Jay. I think I've got a better picture of him here somewhere. There's my picture of him up there in the corner. You can see that's a much better picture of him. And let me turn the paint cam on. It's over here. There's my paints. And oh, hello, Andrea's here. Hello from North Carolina. And wow, where am I at? So I can say hello, hello. There we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so I want to paint this guy. I didn't take this picture. I will admit to that, but I've got one of these guys, this Western Scrub Jays, that comes into my yard all the time when I do yard work and follows me around. I'll go into the backyard, I'll go to the side yard, I'll go into the front yard and do work, and he just follows me around. I think he's the cutest little guy out there, and so I want to do a painting and do him a little bit of justice. Okay, there's my spiel for that. I've as soon as I move that, it gets all wonky. I've pre-drawn him on here. And I tried to do a good job. Took some extra time to put some details on his face. Whoa, we don't want to do that. Jacqueline from Arizona. Nice. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I've got a plan on how I want to paint this guy tonight. And let's see. I am using Arches watercolor paper, 140-pound cold-pressed watercolor paper. My paints over here, are my M-gram set of paints, and what do I have? Silver black velvet brushes for rounds. Here's one of them, and a couple of different, mop brushes for larger areas. The Da Vinci 419 series, and my Dana Squirrel Mop brushes. And with that, I think I'm just going to jump in and start painting this guy. So like I said, I've got kind of a plan on how I want to do this guy tonight, which is sometimes more than I have for some of my other paintings. I love to just jump in and do it, but like I said, I want to do this guy a little bit of justice. So we're going to give it a shot here, and I'm going to mix up a little bit of blue. Let's see, I'm going to use some cerulean blue here. I'm going to paint him cerulean blue mixed with I got an itch right there, sorry about that, mixed with just a bit of phthalo to brighten it up a little bit, and that's going to be my mix for the blue on this guy. And then I want to make a nice gray. And I'm going to make my own gray. I'm going to attempt to make my own gray today. And I'm going to use a little bit of this ultramarine. And into that, I guess I'll put some burnt umber into that. And that'll make a nice gray for us there. If I wanted a little colder gray, I can put a little bit more blue in there. If I want a little bit of a warmer gray, I can put a little bit more of the burnt umber in there. Dawn is here from Colorado. Wow, hello. We've got a smattering from across the country already. All right. And I'm going to pre-wet this guy this time, because part of my plan involves being able to work my paint a little bit. And I'm only going to be able to do that if I've got a wet surface to do that on. So I'm going to pre-wet his head, everything up here except for the little white spot he's got there. I'll go right around his eye here even. If I go into his eye just a little bit, it's not going to matter too much, because his eye is going to be so much darker than everything else. Yeah, I might have left a little too much water on here, but that's okay. Just a little dab like that will take it off. Get my blue right on around here. Actually attempted to paint one of these a while ago. God, it probably was several years. Off topic, but Andrew. Oh, okay. You guys, you guys make vacation plans. I'm just gonna paint. That's great. You can vacation in North Carolina. Actually, it's a beautiful place. Been there a few times. I did a job interview there, and I've got some relatives who live there. Almost moved to North Carolina, but didn't quite make it. I suppose that's okay. All right, I got his face or his head on there, and I need to work in a little bit of this gray coming around his eye and onto his cheek here. And if there gets to be a little bit of blue in here too, that's fine. Just about like this, and you can see how the colors are mingling on there. I really wanted those to mix and do their own thing on there rather than have me try to do anything, because if I try to do it, I'm gonna get it all a little wonky, and it's gonna look a little funny. And then if I do this, I've got plenty of time. See, that white spot was too big there. I've got plenty of time to come back in here and make any adjustments that I might want. And I want a couple. Not too many. There we go. And already I'm really liking him. Sadique is from Chicago land. Fun Stuff is here. Welcome. And Fun Stuff, I owe you a big thank you. Last week you contributed to the coffee fund to help keep me going, and I didn't even realize it. You contributed before I went live, and I never saw it until after we were done. So a big thank you to you for that. What blue is that? It's beautiful. This blue is a mix of cerulean blue here on my palette. Well, let's do it this way. Why do I need to do it that way? Cerulean blue and phthalo. Just a little bit of each of those. Maybe more of the cerulean. Just a little bit of that phthalo to punch it up a little bit. Give it a little kick into what we're doing. I love trying to mix in phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is such a fantastic color, and it gets such a bad rap, and it kind of makes me feel bad, but not that bad. A little bad. And let's see, now I'm going to paint... Oh, I'm going to get him wet first so I know I won't have to face any dry edges, some tide lines. I don't want to face any tide lines, so I'm going to do a little bit to pre-wet this area, just like this. And to be honest with you, because normally I would be lying to everybody about everything. I forget to do this sometimes. It's always a good idea, or not, maybe not always, but oftentimes such a good idea to pre-wet the area that you're going to paint. It gives you that little extra time to be able to manipulate the colors that you're working with as you get them onto your paper. And I so often I forget to do it. Well, I sat down and really put some forethought into painting this guy, and I was determined not to forget it, to do that tonight. And so I'm not going to forget to do it tonight. And Kim is here from Utah. Welcome from Utah. Beautiful Utah. I've been to Utah many times. I love Utah. My parents settled in Utah, and they're in desert southwest in Utah and loving life there. In fact, I used to go out and go to Zion National Park, which is out there's one of my favorite places to visit of all time. It's so fantastic. So nice out there. Okay, I'm just putting in just a little bit of yellow ochre underneath here, just to warm it up under here. Right, it's gonna get darker under here, but I want to show maybe a little bit of reflection of some of this wood that's under here coming up on this bird. You know, maybe just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot, but we'll get some of it in there. And maybe we'll darken it down a little bit. Let's see, a little sepia and a little bit of black. Now, you know what? I'm going to darken it with my gray. So I'll just mix my gray up here again. My gray that I'm making on my own here. A little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of ultramarine blue makes a fantastic gray. You really can't beat it. There we go. Just a little touch of something under there. I want to make sure, dab my brush off just a little bit. I just want to make sure that on this first layer here, I've kind of gotten a little bit of our shading in here already. We don't have to do a lot of our shading here, but a little bit wouldn't hurt here and there. Even if we put a few dots of something in here, here and there, probably is going to help us in the long run with this guy. Right? Maybe there's a bit of dark up here. But we can drop in some of this color now while everything is still wet and not have to worry about it later. And not have to do so much work later to try and make this bird look round, right? We want to give him a little depth. Painting fast. Oh, am I painting too fast? I'll slow down. Some days I come in here. Zion is a great place to vacation. Oh, Zion is beautiful. Alan from the Bay Area, just north of here. Great to have you here, Alan. And Linda from beautiful Washington. I'm hoping that's Washington State. Hello, am I in the city? I'm not near any real city, if that question was directed at me. If it was, I'm really not near any real city. And I'm not sure I want to be right now with everything that is going on. Not that I'm not in support of what's going on, but I'm a little afraid of the happenings going on. I should say, I guess those people who are protesting during the daytime have been nice and safe. Nothing has gone wrong with them. It's only the people who have protested in the evening time that have run into issues. It's sad. Oh, that question was for Jacqueline. Okay. All right. I didn't answer it. Whatever. I don't want to touch this yet. I don't want to touch the head on this guy quite yet. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a little bit of what is this? Yellow ochre. I'm going to put a little bit of sepia in there. And I'm going to get a little bit of this olive green. And that maybe is a color that not everybody has. And I'm going to paint in some of the fence that's here. I'm going to do it fairly quickly and fairly light. I'm okay if I have to come back and do another layer over top of this. Totally fine with having to do another layer over top of this. Let's see, I can do, well, let's just do that whole board here. We'll add some shading to it later, and let me just go right around. I switched to this little larger brush. These mop brushes just hold a bit more water, so I have to go back to my tray over there a little less often. With this, the squirrel hair holds a ton of water in it, so I can paint quite a lot in any one go. Let's see. I lived in Chicago all my life, from ocean to mountains, in our high desert and east side of the state. Okay. I really like your bird painting you're doing. Oh, Dana, thank you. Do I have a favorite paint brand? Yes, I do have a favorite paint brand, and it happens to be the paint brand that I am using right now, which are my M. Graham paints. I've said this before. I will continue to say it. M. Graham may not make every color the best, right? If you're a Daniel Smith fan, you probably think Daniel Smith has some colors that are better than M. Graham. That's fine. You're a Winsor Newton fan. I'm sure you think some of the Winsor Newton colors are better. But overall, if you ask my opinion of everything, taking everything into consideration, I don't think you could do better than M. Graham paints. They are absolutely fantastic. And that's my spiel. I don't get paid by them. I wish I did. But I don't. And that's why I have tried other paints. I've tried Holbein paints. I've tried Mission paints. I've tried Winsor Newton paints. Koi. Van Gogh. Grumbacher paints, all kinds of paints, and I keep coming back to the M. Grahams. I really like them. Dana, let's see, Alan, okay, everybody's going fast. Alan was just in San Luis Obispo this past weekend. You should have stopped by and say hello. I'd love to talk to you. Dana says, your painting of the telephone pole was great. Thank you, Michael. I do have a fair collection of M. Grahams. I haven't used them much, though. Wow, Kim, break those things out. Andrea, you're using core paints. I've always wanted core paints. I don't have any core paints at all. The core paints are so expensive. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger to buy any of them. But I've always been fascinated with the core paints, and I want to get some of the core paints. I just haven't done it yet. Okay, I'm going to get back to this bird here. The telephone pole. Yes, I posted a video earlier today of the telephone pole that is right, it's right here, right behind me. Got a big tree in my yard. And I don't have much of a view, so from my backyard, my front yard's a little different story, but from my backyard I don't really have much of a view. And so when we all went into self-isolation, my backyard became my office. I went outside, I set everything up. I was on 1,000 Zoom calls a day. Okay, maybe not 1,000, but it seemed like 1,000 Zoom calls a day. And that backyard was my refuge for quite a while. I was redoing the studio. I didn't want to mix at the time stuff that was in my studio with my work, and so I didn't come in here to do any work. The outdoors was my area, and that telephone pole, if I looked up from my desk, that telephone pole was the only thing I had to look at. Really, it was the only thing I had to look at. Lots of birds, however, come and sit on that pole and sing to you. So it wasn't all bad. I'll be honest, it wasn't all good either. I've got a little puddle down here. I don't want that little puddle. So I'm just going to dab that off just ever so slightly. But I know that that poll video won't do very well. I'm okay with that. That means something to me because I've had to live through that, and now I saw that for so long, and it just meant something to me. It kind of was like closure to me to get that out and put that out. So that's why I put that out. It's a neat painting. Lots of people look at it and they go, "Holy cow, is that a photo? Is that really a photo? How did you do that?" And it's not a photo. It just kind of looks nice. I lucked into making it look so nice, maybe. I don't know. But it's a cool little painting, and like I said, it has special meaning for me, and probably for me alone. And since it's my channel, I decided to put it up there. Okay, enough of that. You can see the video if you want. It's wherever, down, over, I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere. Let's see, he's got a gray spot right in here, so I'm going to drop a little bit of this gray color right in here. And we'll see how that goes in. And it looks like I've painted around in a corner, around here now. And I don't want it to look like I painted around things, like it's puddled and gone around. I want it to be my paint to go all the way through here. So maybe just thicken this up just ever so slightly. Let's see. Andrew, you've got some new paints. You've got your new core paints. I was using Winsor Newton, and what a difference! I would imagine the core paints are so packed with pigments, and they deliver their pigments a little differently than most paints, which is really kind of cool, really kind of neat. I'm glad not everybody is making their paints the same way. Okay, I'm gonna not mess with this anymore. I've pushed this paint around. I got a little gray in there. I like where this is going. I'm gonna not futz with it for just a second. Let's see. I bet they look rich and flowy. Joan says, I enjoy M. Graham too. Love their Indarathone blue. I can't even pronounce it. I know what it is. It is a deep blue. I don't have that one. But I have the one that's next to it on the chart. I have a Ngram chart. It was hanging around here somewhere. I don't see it. I would pull it out if I could see it. Let's see. And Alan, you come to San Luis Obispo once in a while. Next time you'll pop by and say hi. Perfect. Next time you're here, yeah, just pop by and say hi. And Natalie, you have some core paints, but they don't play nicely with your Turner paints. Now that is interesting. Now that I have not heard. That they would not play nicely with other paints. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a new little puddle, and I'm going to mix some of this. Come on, Michael. Some of this ultramarine blue here, and I'm going to mix this with sepia. Sometimes the words just don't want to come out. And I'm going to paint some of his tail here. And we'll see what we can do. Maybe this already looks like, seems to me like it may be a bit thick. This is a nice dark area back here. And anybody who knows my paintings, anybody who has seen me paint before knows I believe in making my darks dark. I don't like my darks to be light. So as I paint these, I'm going to make these quite dark back here. We're going to do it in a couple of different layers, but these darks are going to be dark. There's his tail out to there. Let's see. Natalie, you can only guess this because the base that they're using. Yeah, that could be. Like I said, the core paints use a different binder. They say they're modern watercolor paints. And the funny thing is that the binder they use is not anything new. But you can ask me what it is right now, and I can't tell you because I don't remember. But I think it's new because it's not, God, I was going to say xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is what you cook with. Guar gum? No. What's the stuff that binds your paints together? Gum arabic. There you go. It's not necessarily gum arabic, and that lots of other companies use. Ngram uses a gum arabic. They also use honey, which is one of the staples that they use. And Daniel Smith uses gum arabic. Winsor Newton uses only gum arabic. So that's why they say that they are, yes, yes, gum arabic. Aquasol. Aquasol, that's what they're put together with. Let's see. I'm going to paint this leg back here. And I want this to be just as dark as the tail. And the leg in front is going to be a little, maybe a little less dark than this one. Let's see. I had drawn a little collar around here, but I think I'm just going to paint over it as I'm looking at it right now. I always do these bird legs, and I look at them and I go, well, that looks a little funny, because they always stand at these weird angles, and then you go, oh, does that line come, this line this way, come through that line that way at a strange angle? Cynthia, hey Michael, love your topic tonight. Thank you. Uh-oh. Joan, you lied to me. It's anthraquinone blue. I have that one. Anthro blue. I do have that. That's a beautiful blue. I believe that is a warm blue, is it not? It doesn't much it doesn't much matter. It is a beautiful, deep, wonderful blue color. Is a scrub jay the same as our stellar jay? The scrub jay and the stellar jay are not the same animal. The scrub jay is its own classification of jays. There we go. I think this guy's coming to life here a little bit. What do you guys think? He's starting to look good. Now I've got a little bit of color under here that I need to put on him, and that's got to be lighter than all of this stuff that's going on around here. So let's go ahead and wet this down and see what we can do with that. Now it's funny because I was just doing a video on Twitch yesterday. It's funny to me. I was just doing a video on Twitch yesterday, and I was talking about how I'm trying to get away from painting bits and pieces and hoping to stitch them all together. And here I am. And here I am painting in bits and pieces and stitching them all together. It's just fun. It's funny how stuff like that works out. Let's see. Joan says, I've tried several brands. M-Gram is the best in my humble opinion. So glad you enjoy it also. Yeah, it's fantastic. And Alan, do the silver black velvet brushes come back to a fine point? They come back to a pretty good point. I've talked about these brushes before, and everybody seems to love these silver black velvet brushes. Everybody loves silver black velvet brushes. I like them. I don't love them. I like them. Do they come to a point? Yes, they do. They always do. They're engineered to, and I know you're going to say, well, other brushes are engineered to do that also, but they're not really. And here's a quick little bit on these brushes anyways. Let's do a really quick comparison with a couple of dry brushes to see if we can see it. So, well, this one is not quite dry, but the bristles on the outside of this brush are long, like they are on most brushes, and they cover almost all of the bulge in here, the body of that bristle, right? Or the body of the brush, right? The hairs on the outside come almost all of the way to the end. The longest bristles are on the inside, but the ones on the outside, they come way out here. And that's what helps to form the point. The ones on the inside form the point. But if we look at the bristles from the silver black velvet brushes, you can see the ones on the outside are very short out here. They're half of the length of the full bristles. So they're cut, and they're cut specifically so they have to come back to a point. It's not really cheating on how they do it, but it's a bit kooky. And that's how Silver ensures that all of their brushes are gonna come to a nice clean point every time you use them, or nearly every time you use them. Maybe not every time. So let's see, Kim, you feel the same way about silver black brushes. Your favorite are the Escoda Versatile. Yeah, well, the Escoda the Escodas are 3-4 times more expensive than these. They're not cheap, right? Those are not cheap brushes. But I bought these and I wanted to love these. You know, because so many people use them, I wanted to love them. I was like, okay, now I've got the brushes everybody else uses. Let's just see how they are, and they're fine. They're fine. They're fine. It's not. I don't have a real complaint about them. But on the other side, I'm never gonna say to you, "Oh, you gotta get these brushes. They're the bomb." Because I don't think they are. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. So I hope that answered your question. I don't know, it's probably more of an answer about brushes than you ever wanted. It probably is. You'll probably never ask another question again. Oh, he's going to ramble on for an hour. Be careful what you wish for. Versatiles have a tight snap, and they're actually not that bad. Like I said, I've never tried them. I would love to. I just haven't. Okay. So we've got the basis of this bird done now, right? We got one layer of paint, almost one whole layer of paint on this guy. There are a couple places aside that we don't have any. So now we can just have fun with him, right? We've got all the basic colors on here. Everything else, I did miss a little blue over here, it looks like. But we'll get some of that on there later. So now that we've got this first layer on here, we can just have some fun. You need to know what brand of mop brushes I have. I have these, which are Da Vinci squirrel mop brushes. This is series 418. If you buy these, it probably comes in a pack of 2. Here are the ones I have, a 2 and a 0. My other mop brushes over here are much less expensive, but I like them just as much. These are Dana mop brushes that you can get from Amazon. And in fact, while we're talking about it, I'm gonna do a little bit more on my fence here. Take my color and keep moving along in this painting here. And I'm using the same color. I'm not really varying this, but the color difference is going to be just slight enough that we're going to be able to see the real differences in these boards. And there's going to be just a tiny bit of a tide line on the edge of one where it meets the next. So even though we're using the same color for these, we're going to have a natural break in these. And then we'll be able to come back and put we'll put some additional colors on these too. I'm not going to leave these with nothing on them. In fact, I was thinking of not doing all of this fence and just doing one of these posts. And then I went, well, I can do more than one. I didn't bother continuing to go down that way. But I figured, well, you know, a few of these posts aren't going to matter. We can do those. Let's see. Joan, let's see. My rendering of the bird is lovely. In the photo, its expression appears a bit more annoyed than perplexed. They do get a bit annoyed from time to time. I will admit to that. The guy who comes to visit me all the time hops around and just chirps at me. But he keeps me company. I talk to him all the time. He's great. He's great. I'm going to put this same color gray that we've been using on his beak here. Maybe a little bit stronger, but it's not going to matter because this is just the undercolor for his beak. We're going to come back and we're going to really darken this up before we're done with it. There we go. Oh, and he's starting to look like a bird now, isn't he? You get the beak on there, and it's starting to look like something. I bet if I painted his eye on there, I painted that right over the highlight of his eye. I didn't want to do that. But I'll bet you if I paint his eye on here now, he's automatically going to get a personality. That's how it goes. There he is. Oh, now all of a sudden he's gotten a person. We're not done by any stretch with him, but he's automatically gotten a personality now all of a sudden. Just like that. Let's see. Okay, so we've got a few things that we need to do here. I'm looking at the reference photo, which is there. And let me move this aside for just a second and bring this in. Okay, and so we can see we've got some dark areas down here. The black and white photo is nice because we don't have to worry about the colors in here getting in the way of our values, right? We know this is way dark down here. We know this is a middle tone, and these are all really light tones up here. Middle, 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 dark, dark underneath. But we've got a few of these areas in here, under here, a few areas underneath some of the feathers here that we really need to darken up. So that's what we're going to focus on next. And we're going to do that, and that's really going to bring this bird to life. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more of my gray here. If it's the same color, that's great. If it's not the same color of gray, that's fine too. Not really a big deal. Oh, and I hope these are dry enough that if I set my hand on them, I don't get into too much trouble. And I'm just going to go in here and draw in a few feathers here and make a little dark area. Right, and that's going to separate one level of these feathers from the next level of these feathers, and then I'm going to blend that way out. And it looks like I need to put some extra color down here on his tail. We'll get to that. Maybe he's got a little bit that comes underneath here. If not, we'll add it in here. All right, that's kind of underneath. And let's give him a darker line all the way up here. Right, this will help to set this wing off a little bit. And my hope is, my goal in doing this is to just give some little details here and there that are going to start to make this bird come to life. Right? Maybe it's not going to be the same. Well, of course it's not going to be the same. None of my paintings look the same as the reference photo. It's a reference. It's not meant to be an exact copy. And I'm looking at this, and this is pretty good down here, but I want it to be a bit darker than it is. You know, it's not a bad color down there, but a bit darker. It dried a little bit lighter than I wanted it down here. So I'm going to mix up a bit of this gray. Actually, this is the gray that was in his legs. And I'm gonna put this up here like this, and there's a little bit of that yellow ochre that was still on my palette. There, it looks something like that. I don't know, I think I want to blend it here in the center. I think I don't want this hard line here. And this is where this second go around, really I'm painting in small enough areas that I really don't need to pre-wet whatever I'm doing. The first go around on this guy, yeah, maybe I need to pre-wet it. Right, maybe I need to make sure that I've got full coverage of the paint before I get a hard edge, if I want a hard edge. But on the second one, we can do this a little here and a little there, and make this come out exactly the way we want it to. Nobody's saying anything. I hope it's because you're all enraptured by what I'm saying. Not because I've lost connection again. Actually, I was going to say, knock on wood, wherever I have some, that my connection has been stable for the past quite a while. That used to not always be the case. I used to have lots of connection issues. Oh, he's looking good. He looks good. Look, he's coming to life there, right? Just enjoying, Kim, you're just enjoying the process. Well, good. Good. I more than anything else, I just want it to be an enjoyable time. If you learn something about watercolors, fantastic. I love proselytizing about watercolors. I could talk about watercolors till I'm blue in the face. But more than that, if you come and you have a good time watching me do whatever it is I do, talk about whatever it is I'm going to be talking about, then I'm happy. I'm happy. That's a good show for me. And if you come away with a little appreciation or a little bit more knowledge about watercolors, that's even better. That's even better. That makes me happy. Happy, 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 as Emerald would say. All right, I'm just going to try to define a couple of these feathers back here. If you guys can see how I'm doing this, I mixed up it's not the same color, but a similar color. And now I'm going to skip one of these, and then I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to put another set of these feathers in here, and no need to worry about them being exactly perfect, right? I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. They don't have to be exactly right, the right size, the right width, the right whatever. You know, bird feathers are like us. They're all kinds of different shapes and colors and sizes and everything like that. Okay. And I've been in that area. I think what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this color and paint down here. In fact, I think I want to flip this over a little bit and start down here. Come up this other way. I probably should start with a very small brush, but I think if I'm very careful, I can probably do it here. There we go. Look at that. Almost like I planned it like that. How awesome was that? Sometimes I amaze myself. Usually, amazing myself, the bar is set pretty low. Alan says you just ordered a set of Martini brushes. Fantastic. I like mine. I do. I really like mine. And I hope that you like them also. I was a little afraid to get them, I'll tell you, because I haven't had, a super amount of luck with, I'm going to call them off-brand brushes. It's a bigger brand in Europe than it is here. But I had a friend from Great Britain, and she sent me a Martini travel brush. One brush, it's it's in a silver tube, and you take it out and put it back in the other way. And it was fantastic. It was wonderful. And I went, holy cow! I gotta see what's going on with this. It was such a nice little brush, and that I ordered the set, and the set is, let's be honest, the set is not very expensive, anyways. The set of those brushes, and I got them, and I was pleasantly surprised with them, and I used them a lot. I have them in the house right now because I've been using them with a little set of paints that I have in there. Maybe I should bring them back out and use them back out here again. They're wonderful little brushes. I hope you're very happy with the Martini brushes. Jacqueline, you never heard of the Maritini brushes. Yeah. I get that. Like I said, they are, Maritini is a small Belgian brush maker, as I understand it. Right? Belgium, probably known a bit more for its chocolate and beer, something like that, than they are for their paint supplies or painting supplies. But they're surprisingly very nice. I got them on Amazon. I don't know if you can get them from Jackson's. I don't much order anything from Jackson's Art Supply, to tell you the truth. Chocolate, yes. Belgium is known for chocolate. I don't even like chocolate. Is that wrong? That I don't even like chocolate? My wife says I'm nuts. And I mean, maybe that's true. You know, there might be something to that, but nevertheless, just never was a big chocolate fan. All right, and I have a line here that I'm going to add in, and hopefully that gives us a little extra depth on this guy. Oh, it kind of does. Yeah, you can kind of see his legs sticking out right there now, right? Sacrilege. That's, I'm sorry. I can live with that. I can totally live with that. Sacrilege. That's funny. Okay, let's see. I need a little something on his leg down here. So I'm going to invent a little something. It's pretty light. So maybe he's got a little bit of a bend. A bend? Oh, come on, Michael. Michael. Maybe he's got a little bit of a shadow on part of his little leg down here. Some lines that come up so we can see, and then we're going to draw his leg in right there. All right, there we go. Just a little bit on there, and it's nice and dark back there. It kind of sets it off a little bit. Yeah, not super happy with it. Blend out a little bit of this maybe. That's a little bit better. It's funny, I look up here because what's up there looks a little different than what's down here, but I'm pretty much okay with it. I like where it's going. I like what we've got here. Right? I like what we've got. You got some nice feathers here, some nice darks underneath, really make those stand out, right? They were out of stock on Amazon. You had to get them from the Maritini website. Wow. Okay. Wow. I hope they're selling out. Or maybe they just can't make any right now. That could be. I don't know. I don't know if you make brushes and keep them in stock. I would imagine you can. Let's see. I'm going to do a little bit more on his tail here. Right, here we go. I'm not super worried about getting these perfect symmetrical or anything. Animals are like us. They're not totally symmetrical. They're close, but not totally. And that's okay. That's totally okay. Actually, it makes it a little easier to paint that. In fact, you know what? I'm going to darken that up there even a little bit more. Let's see. This was sepia and ultramarine. I don't need any more water. I got plenty of water over here. And let's see if we can't darken this a little bit more and let it lighten as it comes out. Come on, give me Give me some better color than that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Give me a dark underneath there. Very good. Very good. There's a dark. And then we'll blend this out just ever so gently. I love doing graded washes. I love graded washes. Graded washes are the greatest thing in watercolors. The fact that you can take that paint and make it go from a solid color to nothing in not that much amount of time is just unbelievable to me that anybody can do that. I love graded washes. There we go. And now he's got some real dark underneath there. Yes, I know the image, the reference photo, where's it at? Over there. It's dark the whole way down. Okay. I can live with that. I've made an adjustment. I'm not about to say that I've improved upon the real thing. I'll just say I've made a small adjustment and we'll see how it works out. Oh yeah, he's looking really good. I think he's looking good. He's got some body, some humph to him. If that's a word, I don't know if that's a word. It ought to be a word if it's not a word. Right, I know he's got some lines in here. Right, I just want to give him the. Oh, you almost can't even see it. So light, so almost nothing here. More of that cerulean, and I'm going to put a little bit of that sepia in there just to tone it down ever so slightly. Right, the same thing that we did down here, we're going to do up there. Just maybe to a little lesser extent. We need a couple of lines on this guy. Here and there. It's not like Sam I Am. He wouldn't eat them here and there. He wouldn't eat them anywhere. He wouldn't eat them in a house, nor with a mouse, not in a box, not with a fox. Not in a boat, not with a goat. I don't know what else. I don't know where else Sam wouldn't eat his green eggs and ham. I'm sure there was somewhere else. Don't forget the pop of blue on the right of his neck. Over here. Oh, yeah, way over here. Oh, yeah, well, let's get that right now. Yes, you're right. He's got a big thing of blue right over here. And I've been using that sepia, so let me stick with that. And I want just to make that a little bit darker underneath there. Did I get it right? Maybe, maybe not. Let's pull a little bit of that down. That's not quite right. Luckily, we can pull that out and make it right. Everybody says watercolors are hard to work with. They're not that hard. There you go. I had a little boo-boo. We just fixed it. I have so much patience. I have so much patience painting. Some days I have a lot of patience painting. Some days I have patience. Some days it's a little iffy whether I have any patience or not. It really. Some days I sit down and I go, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Tonight I feel good. I had a little nap this afternoon. I feel good about what I'm doing. Actually, I had a nice day today. Don't have anything to complain about, so maybe I have a little more patience today than I have on some days, but nevertheless, I should say my real problem is not that I don't have patience to do this. My real problem is that I'm getting old. My bones get achy from time to time. And so I'll sit in my little stool here and I'm bent over, I'm hunched over here, and then my back starts to hurt a little bit. And I'm like, oh. And then in addition to my back starting to hurt a little bit, well, I get up early. And because I get up early, I get tired early. And my words start to get a little wonky. I start to put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. And then you guys can't understand what the heck I'm talking about. I start having trouble stringing words together because I'm tired. And I don't want that. I want you guys to go, oh, this is good, and have a good time the whole time and be able to hear and understand me. Oh, there we go. Oh, look, I think he's looking fantastic. Look, he looks great. Look at this. He's coming to life. Andrea, you're painting along with me? Wow. Wow. Let's see. Jacqueline, you're having trouble finding the Maritini. Martini. Yeah, Maritini brushes. That's right. He's starting to look good. He is starting to look good. I'm totally happy with the way he's coming along here. We do need to give him a little bit of some texture in this white area. Right, maybe there's some little feathers in here causing a little bit of a little bit of a look-see here. Maybe some of these up here, a couple of these maybe a little bit more blue, but just a little something up here. See, I want to, before I get too carried away with doing all of this stuff. All right, well, I say that, and I'm going to get carried away right now. It's just, I want to give him a few extra lines underneath here. I want to give these lines here because I want it to look as though I'm putting these in kind of a fashion that's turning like this. So in addition to his head looking like it's turned that little bit, that the feathers, the pattern of the feathers, the twist of them is going to make it look like he's turning his head. So I want to make sure I've got that on there, just so. And I'm gonna kind of jump in here. I haven't used this color, and this might start to be a bit of a mistake, and I'm okay with making mistakes. It's my mistake to make. I'm going to add some of this black. This is the black here is the only Winsor & Newton color I have on my palette. It's Winsor & Newton Ivory Black, and I will tell you, other than the fact that it's about as soft as a bowling ball, it's a wonderful color. It's a wonderful warm black color. I absolutely adore it. That's why I keep it on my palette. I don't even own another black. That's the only black that I have. Is that Winsor & Newton black. And it's got to go out a little further on here. Just... there we go. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. He started. We're building up all of these layers around him. He's just starting to look so good. So good. I don't normally I do my eyes last or pretty close to last, but I have black on my brush already. So I'm just going to drop a little bit extra on here. Darken that eye up just ever so slightly. Wow, look at that. I probably should use a slightly smaller brush, but he looks great. He's got an expression now. He's looking over that way. He's going, what the heck is going on? I love painting birds. I do like birds. I don't like painting lots of animals because animals are tough. Fur is tough. Feathers from time to time are tough from time to time. But birds, boy, I do like painting birds. Most birds. It's just so much fun. I put in the notes down below. Down, where am I at? Where's my down there. I don't have a name for this guy. I was talking to my daughter about it this morning. I'm sorry, this afternoon. I don't have a name for this guy. Does anybody know what we should name this bird who comes around my house all the time? I don't know. For the life of me, I don't know why we didn't name him. My daughter names everything. Everything. If it has a basis in reality, she's got a specific name for it. Oh, look how he looks. Oh, he looks great. But we didn't name this bird, and we need to name this bird, and so we're going to do some naming of this bird. Does anybody have any any suggestions? Okay, don't finish yet. My Havanese need to go potty. Okay, don't try an iguana. The skin texture would take out. Oh, woo, yeah, I can see where with an iguana the skin texture would take a long time. Can totally see that. That probably would be a good one to stay away from. Let's see, I'm going to do this. I'm just looking around at this point going, where can we add a little bit? What can we do to make this guy stand out just a little bit more? Every little bit helps to help this guy stand out, right? To get some good texture on him, to help him, the parts of him pop off the page. That's what we're looking for right now. Oh, I'm happy with this guy. I think he's looking really good. I'm totally happy with him. I think he's looking fantastic. I do wish I'd have put a little bit more color on that white. Not unhappy with it, but maybe could have used a little bit more color in there. Not much, but a little here and a little there. I'm just going to put a couple of little lines in here. This is just where some feathers might be. I don't want much. This is a case, I think, where probably less is more, right? Less is more, Michael. Listen to yourself. You need just enough on there. Let's see, Jacqueline switched to iPad. I think I'm going to go brave and give this one a go tomorrow. Fantastic. If you give this one a go, go to my Discord channel and post over there what you do. I would love to see it. I'm sure there will be a lot of people here that would love to see what you come up with and how it looks. What color was that leg back there? I guess it doesn't matter. That one's back in shadow. Need to paint this leg on here. I will say one of the things that I liked about this this reference photo is that you couldn't see all of the bird's claws. They only got a couple of them. Bird feet are not always the easiest to paint. Sometimes they get a little tricky, a little hairy. So this one, you can't even see the whole foot. I thought, okay, that's fantastic. That's definitely a go if we can't see the whole thing. Oh, he's really coming together. We got a little bit more to do up around the eyes. I'm going to do a little bit more on the wood here. Right, we got some nice gray going on here. Mix this black in with some of this blue, a little bit of ochre in there. Get some old-ish wood color, right, going here. I don't know if this is going to be good or not. That's not bad. Not quite exactly what I wanted, but it's fine. It's gonna be fine. Maybe mix a little bit of that blue in there. I don't know. This is all just old fence posts and whatnot. So we can put in there whatever color we really want to. Provided I don't do what I just did there, which is lift this up and get a droplet of paint spraying out of there. That would probably be bad. Probably don't want that. I'm going to skip the one that's got his foot on it. Just because if that foot is wet, then I don't want to touch it. I want to make sure it's nice and dry when I come in and do this. Oh yeah, those kind of look like they're in a bit of shadow there. How about Sapphire? Oh, name him Kilo. Wait. If I name him Kilo, look how skinny he is. I can't name him Kilo. Sapphire. Oh, Sapphire might be a good one. It's less is more. Less is more is always hard. Less is more is always hard. Less is more is incredibly hard. All right, before I do any more down here, I'm going to get a little smaller brush here. I don't want, that's too small. And I want to do a little bit more with this gray around his eye up here. right? I'm looking at his eye. We need to give him some character up here. This probably is not what his eye actually looks like. And again, I'm okay with that. That has never bothered me in the past. Probably will never bother me in the future. I'm totally happy with this guy. I think this guy looks fantastic. I can't tell you how tickled I am that this is turning out almost exactly the way I had hoped he would. So many times we do something and we have these ideas in our head about what we want something to look like. And by the time we get around to doing it, well, execution falls a little short. But with this guy, right now, it's really pretty close to what I thought he was going to look like when we started painting him. And I'm so happy. I'm glad everybody's, I don't even know how many people are watching. Sagebrush. Ooh. Now, I like that name. Sagebrush. I like that. Now, I am willing, or I am able to tell you that I'll not be able to pick the winning name right now, because I'm sure that by the time tomorrow morning rolls around, come on, get out of there. My daughter will have seen this and will have some ideas. I will encourage her to pick from the list. Oh, Andrea, you want to put a wash on the sky. Ha ha! And I don't. I so don't. I really don't. I'm happy with the background being white. I know. I'm in the minority. I'm always in the minority with that. And I'm usually okay with it. I like white backgrounds. I think it makes it look more contemporary. I think it makes it look, I was going to say refined, but I don't think refined is the right word. But I have never held to the convention. You guys all know I have never held to the convention that I have to put a background on things. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. How's that for an eye? Is that looking good? Is it looking like he's looking at something or past something? Well, I sure think he's looking good. I'm even kind of okay with the fence posts here. Oh, let me get whatever brush I got here handy. Give me this. Let me get this fence in here, and then I can paint these talons on here. And I get chided about my backgrounds a lot. I do. And the only person that says anything to me about it that really bothers me from is my wife. The rest of everything, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. Some pictures to me scream must-have background, and some don't. And the ones that don't, yeah, I just go, well, okay. I see. It would. Yeah. See, Cam, you like the white too, or it looks a bit stark. Jacqueline, you think it looks stark, and Kim, you like the white. I think the background. My take is the background can do nothing but distract you from the image. Whatever your image is that you're painting, the background can serve no purpose other than to distract you from it. And yes, again, yes, I know I'm way in the minority on that. I'm okay with that. Give him a little nostril right in here. He's got to breathe somehow, right? There. And I just want to see if I can get even darker. This is straight black right out of the tube there, or right off of the palette. Maybe just a little bit more, just a little darker in there even. The thing I could do, I'm looking here, the thing I could do on this, I think you're right in this case, he pops off the page and the star of the show, thank you. Okay, I was going to do something on his leg here, but I think really before I do anything on his leg, what his leg needs is a shadow. I don't think his leg needs much, but a shadow is something it does need. And of course I'm out of gray, so I'll just mix a little bit up here, pick that little bit up, and let's see if we can't just give him a little bit of something on that leg. His leg was just a bit too monotone there. And kind of one of the good things about mixing your own gray like this is when you put it on in a wet way like this, it's gonna drop out into its constituent colors. So you're gonna get a little blue in there, and you're gonna get a little brown in there. You're gonna get a little bit of everything. And as a result, it's going to add a little bit of extra interest to your painting. And this leg back here, I'm no longer happy with it being lighter. It needs to be darker. All these little, just little fidgeting with it. Little things here that you can either take or leave in your painting. Right, I don't know that you need to do any of, painting this leg a second color. I could see if you left it that lighter black, it would be just as well as painting it a bit darker here. But because it's so far back there, and it's definitely underneath the bird, and I don't know, we've got light coming from, I don't know where we have light coming from on this. Obviously light is coming from over here. I missed a whole, I missed a whole thing over here, and nobody said anything about it. I think for me, if I were going to do something to set this off, this painting off a little bit, I would spend all of my time from here on out on the wood fence here. I think it's okay like this, but I would do a lot of texture on the fence. His name is Sky. Oh, Sky. Sky's a good one. Yeah, I like that too. I just need to make sure that that is dry. Kind of dry, so that we can come and give him some nice talons on here. I have a little too much. Oh, that's extra texture for that wood that I just put my fingers into. Sky. I like Sky. That's a good one. I like Sapphire. I'm sorry. Kilo, I'm not sure about. Okay. Is that it? Oh, I was going to do this. Yeah, this is what I was looking at doing. Lighter color, lighter color. I already know. Just give him some bands on his arm here. Or his leg. I'm sorry, his leg. Right? Get some bands on there. You know, birds have a few rings on their legs from time to time. So give him a little something on there, and that'll help. Something on his knuckle over here, maybe. There we go. And I don't know, you probably can't even see that. It's so light. There you go. Just a little bit you can see on there. And honestly, I'm going to stop right there because I think at this point I'm fiddling with it. If I were to do more, I would do more on the fence here, right? I'm never going to put any white on the background. For me, I know it's a personal thing, but I think the fence could use a little bit of work, right? Some kind of vertical something in here. But I'm not going to do it right now because I love the way that the bird itself has turned out. And so I'm going to leave him like that. I was going to sign it, but I don't know where my pen has gone. But that's it. That's what I've got for you. We'll see. Lisa R. You got him a little. You got here a little late. You'll see the rest tomorrow. Looks great. Thank you so very much. You are certainly welcome. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. There is my Western Scrub Jay in watercolor. I think he looks fantastic. Thank you all for joining me for this, what are we at, an hour and a half long painting of this little guy. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. If you want to visit my website, I'm just going to do a little shameless plug here. It's down. Link to it is down below. It's www.watercolorswithmichael.com. I promise you, I'm working on building out some stuff. I'm going to put up a new blog post tomorrow. This is what I talk about when I get tired. I just put up some new images that I had painted a while ago up there. Some that you've seen here on YouTube, some that you wouldn't have seen on YouTube. Links to Instagram and Twitter down below. Links to Etsy down below also. And if you care to give a donation to the studio, links to that down below and on my website. That's all I've got for you guys this evening. Thank you so much for joining me here. I look forward to seeing what you guys do when you post it in Discord. Link down below, I think. Maybe you can get that from my website. That's it. That's it, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you. Oh, my ending is not working. Okay, let's try it this way. Bye.